Hey cats, it's your midsole man EDDBUD here, back with the viewer's favourite running shoe, yay or nay. This is a series where I check out 4 recently released or soon to be released running shoes and let you know if I'm going to pick up a pair for review or not. Let's get straight into the action with shoe number 1. Nike have released a Gore-Tex version of the Vomero 18. Humorously, it's almost the same weight as the standard version. Winterized versions always seem to be a little bit heavier, but this one isn't all that much greater in heft. I always thought the padding on the original version of the Vomero 18 was somewhat over the top on the tongue and the heel, though apparently the Gore-Tex version that we've got here with the winterized elements to it is only 4 grams heavier. I can see why some runners might be keen on this updated winterized version, if perhaps they're trying to maximise the mileage during the more testing months of the year, though I think a 46mm stacked shoe with a 10mm drop is not really going to be all that viable in those slippery conditions. The outsole is of course the other main thing that's changed here. Nike are offering their Storm Tread rubber application, which mimics the position of the rubber on the original version, but has a more densely packed traction pattern. I think some outsole patterns on just standard daily shoes work just fine in wet weather. The waffle lugs though on some Nike shoes aren't really ideal when the going starts to get a little bit tougher out there. I think the biggest change here really in the upper is the removal of those very thin cord lace loops that they use. They've got some more standard looking lace loops now. Maybe it's a slight update really to the shoe over the original version. I know a few people mentioned that they managed to break those little cord loops on the Vomero 18 and the Vomero Plus. The midsole here is the same as the V18, so it's almost as though this is like an updated, slightly improved version of that, just a bit more usable in the wet winter months. At 155 Earth credits here in the UK, that's a £20 increase over the original. I mean, the 18 wasn't a great shoe for me, it was a bit of a clunker. I'm not a big fan of that. I shan't be purchasing this one from Nike. It's a nay on the Vomero 18 Gore-Tex. New Balance are set to release the 1080 V15 sometime soon. I think it might be in December. I did try out a couple of earlier versions of that shoe. I think it was like the V11 or 12 perhaps, but they never really gelled with me due to the more dense nature. It just wasn't really very fun to run in. It appears New Balance has ditched the fresh foam material in the 1080 in favour of a new type of foam called Infineon. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I should imagine it's some supercritical type thing because that's what's in lots of other shoes right now. The silhouette though seems to be very, very similar to the last couple of versions of the 1080. Looking at the outsole, it almost looks like the foam's sculpted into little pods. You can see those on the bottom of the shoe there. There's a massive weight reduction on the 1080 V15 over the 14. 39 grams or 1.5 ounces is nothing to be sneezed at. It's probably down to that new foam. Perhaps it's a bit less bulky perhaps by all accounts, and some reviews have come out already suggest that the shoe's a bit narrow, and that's good for me. I always used to find the 1080 quite a generous shoe in terms of the upper materials. 40mm of heel stack, 34 in the forefoot, so you still got a maxed out stack here, but avoiding the SC Trainer extra height. There's a good 2mm more in the heel and the forefoot over the 1080 V14. So I think this one's set to launch for about $170 in the US. But I think with that new foam, I'm willing to give it another go. So I'm going to say it's a yay on the New Balance 1080 V15. Come on, New Balance, sort me out with some shoes. They've never sent me anything at all. I've never heard a bean from those guys. The ULTRABOOST 5 Strung launched a short while ago. It's a strange shoe really, features that light boost material which is substantially lighter than the original 3M Boost foam, which whilst it was compressive and comfortable was quite a heavy material when compared to more recent foam types used in running shoes. The ULTRABOOST 5, just as a running shoe, really didn't work that well for me. I did pick that up a while back. It was okay, just nothing really stand out whatsoever, especially when you consider that Adidas launched the Evo SL around that time too, and I'm wearing those right now. That tells you all you need to know. I think it was probably the 10mm drop. I just couldn't get on with that in the ULTRABOOST 5. The upper materials were not a patch on the knit-like uppers from the original ULTRABOOST models, and I don't see the Strung material making all that much difference really. 37mm in the heel and 27 up front. It's another 10mm, and those just don't seem to work all that well for old EDDBUD. You can see that X plate is still visible there underneath that transparent milky outsole rubber. These are 200 quid here in the UK. That is a lot of earth credits for a shoe that ultimately I think is only really going to work for those heavier built runners. It's a very odd decision to persist really with the ULTRABOOST the way it is, and the Strung upper material just seems to be confined to a few models for Adidas. You got the Prime X Strung. I think it was on one of their race spikes as well. Would have loved to have seen a silhouette of the Adios Pro 4 with the Strung upper, part Light Strike Pro forefoot, and then perhaps another foam in the heel, like a trainer version of the Adios Pro 4. So it's a nay on the ULTRABOOST 5 Strung. Something nice and light to end the video with our fourth shoe. This is the Mizuno Prototype Pure. Apparently only 137 grams or 4.8 ounces for the sample size. That is something of a marvel. Though I did then see the stack, which is about 34.5 in the heel, and there's a 3.5mm drop. So it's not exactly what everybody thought it was going to be. I was quite surprised to see Mizuno going for a shoe with low weight, and fully expected to see along the lines of the Metaspeed Ray and Adios Pro Evo 2 with that maxed out 40mm heel in the sample size. As such, a shoe with some nitro infused Peba based foam here, similar perhaps to the stuff used in the past by Puma and other brands. So it's an odd choice really to utilise that foam where everybody else is going to those ATPU foams that just seem to deliver more over time. And of course are much lighter. This seems to be almost more like a competitor to the Vaporfly 4 than anything else, a sub 40mm stack racer, which also appears to use Mizuno's G3 outsole, so aiming for max traction there with the minimum weight possible. You've obviously got a carbon plate here, that's a given for this type of model. I think these release around the start of December. I'm not sure on price, but when you consider the Wave Rebellion Pro 3 is the most expensive shoe from Mizuno at the moment, and that's about £210 here in the UK, this is going to be, what, 220, 230 at least. I'm not convinced on this one. I'd like to see some more information about it before I say yes or no. So for the time being, for the Mizuno Prototype Pure, it's a nay. Okay, that's all 4 shoes in today's video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on these down in the comments. And just to remind you, with yay or nay, it's not me saying that the shoe's absolutely fantastic or it's terrible. It's just me letting you know whether I'm going to pick up a pair of these to review on the channel or not. Some people used to get a bit confused about that, and I used to have to explain it in the comments, so I'll do it here. Quick musical interlude for you. I've been digging back through my vinyl selection, and I've been listening to No Name by Jack White. Archbishop Harold Holmes is probably my favourite track from that. The guitar tones on this album just absolutely wonderful, biting and gritty, yet there's warmth there as well, probably from Jack White's triple caster. What a amazing instrument. 3 pickups, a Bigsby. I think you've even got a switch to send the pickups directly to the output jack of the guitar as well for a little extra oomph. It's one of those guitars that I've always been keen to try and get my hands on. Maybe I should look around for a good deal on one, because Jack White's always been a real icon for me, a real sort of hero when it comes to guitar. Amazing to think I saw him back in 2001, like 24 years ago, and he's been producing music ever since, and stuff that's always very immediate sounding. Anything he's ever made, it just sounds great, you know. Lots of different influences that he brings in. Anyway, go check this one out. The album is called No Name, and it's from Jack White. Thanks for tuning in, people. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you've been watching recently, thanks for making October one of the highest viewed on the channel ever. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Also give this video a thumbs up like and drop us a comment for the algorithm. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you